Hi everyone. In this video, I will be discussing the different school settings. To know me is to know I am a very thorough person. I love planning and I love having all the information I could possibly have before I make our decision. I consider all options for my daughter for school. I looked at Aspect, a support unit at a school, and a mainstream inclusive school. I went into a lot of detail and I outlined what I thought the pros and cons were for every setting. I don't think the differences between the school settings are important because each child is different and each setting has its purpose for each child. Me thinking of something that would sit in my cons list might be something that sits in someone's pros list and vice versa. In terms of deciding what setting was best for my child, what was important to me was choosing an environment that had the right support and would help my daughter grow. My daughter is constantly learning every single day, so my goal was to ensure she was placed in a setting that would allow her to continue to grow with the right support. Whatever decision you make, please ensure you have an understanding of the type of support they're going to provide your child and your child is supported in the way that they should be. Kindergarten is a big step forward in your child's life and it's important that the right support is there. Honestly, I don't know how my daughter would have survived kindergarten if her school didn't provide her with aids. And that's a fact. I completely understand how stressful this situation is. It's overwhelming and hard, and you're constantly worried about making the right decision. I'm not going to tell you it's easy because it isn't. I certainly didn't find it easy. It's a brand new adventure for your child, and no matter how much planning we all do, we're probably still going to stress over the decision. I'll admit, even on her first day of school, as happy and excited as she was, I still thought to myself, did I do the right thing? My advice for school placement is really consider all your options because at least at the end of the day, you can say you've done your research. You really have to choose what's the best place for your child, and that means a place where they can learn, grow, be supported, be cared for, and more importantly, be happy. I should note it's also very important that when you meet the principal or teacher that you feel welcomed. My daughter and I were welcomed with open arms, and your child and you deserve to have that same experience. All children have the right to feel welcomed and accepted. As stressful as this decision-making process is, it's also more than okay if the setting you decide on does not work out. You've tried, more importantly, your child has tried, and probably the best thing is to do is to move on to a new setting, and that is more than okay. Seek advice from your child's team if possible. I consulted with Emily's GP, psychologist, OT, and speech therapist. No one actually encouraged a decision for me, but we openly discussed the pros and cons of each setting for Emily. I even consulted with her carers at preschool. I didn't really refer to any resources as I felt they were too generalised. At least I knew when I was talking with her therapist about this new chapter in our lives, I knew that they were basing their thoughts on knowing Emily very well. I even went as far as gave myself a little self-care and had one-on-one sessions with Emily's psychologist as I found this experience to be a little overwhelming and stressful. And I encourage you, parents and carers, to do the same thing. It is quite daunting thinking of schools, so I encourage any self-care you can give yourselves whenever possible. As I mentioned in my previous video, my daughter is in an inclusive mainstream school. And touch wood, she is flourishing. My daughter has been very blessed to have a full-time aide at her school. Despite the angels on earth that are her aides, her other angels at the school are her kindy teachers. She's had 2 teachers this year, as one went on maternity leave, and both have been absolutely amazing. My daughter and I are truly blessed with the kindy teachers, the aides, her classmates, and I don't take 1 second of her year for granted. I have to admit every single teacher at the school has been supportive. They all know Emily and they all look out for her. Her teachers and aides and I are in constant contact to help support Emily. They also implement anything our therapist suggests. Nothing is too hard for them. Emily's school is great in which she's allowed to have therapists visit the school. Given COVID, this didn't happen pretty much all year, so her teachers have been kind enough to talk with her therapist via email or Zoom or me whenever necessary. The fact that Emily spent pretty much the first semester of kindy at home, and as soon as she came back, her kindy teacher went on maternity leave, and none of this really affected Emily or the other kids, just shows what kind of an amazing environment the school is. Again, we're very blessed. When I say it out loud, it should have been quite a catastrophic year, but in fact, it was the complete opposite. The biggest surprise for me in this mainstream inclusive setting was the environment of the whole school community. I'm talking the principal, assistant principal, teachers, all her students, all her classmates, her aides and kindy teachers. I had heard last year that the school that Emily was going to attend is absolutely amazing when it comes to being a close and very kind community. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for just how kind the teachers, the students, and the parents were. The kids in her class are so friendly and kind, and so are all the older kids. To watch Emily receive that kindness constantly from so many students and teachers is it's this indescribable joy. It fills my heart, and it's so overwhelming in the most wonderful way. It's been a year and I'm still not used to it. I was not expecting so much kindness to be poured out from so many kids, teachers and parents. I honestly believe my daughter enjoys school because of the kind, welcoming environment she walks into every single day. My wish is that your child and you have the exact same experience when it comes to their time at school. Your child is incredible, and your child absolutely deserves to receive kindness and support. I guess what I'm trying to say is no matter the school setting, it's important that you and your child feel welcomed by the school and the community, and your child receives the right support for their needs. Again, I understand this is a very difficult decision, and I wish you all the very best in whatever you decide. I reiterate, should you wish to have further discussions about school settings, please do not hesitate to contact me. I'm more than happy to have a discussion.